Hello people, I'm going to talk about Manuka honey in this video. I'm putting this stuff out there. I think I need to more so for the benefit of other people. If I can help one out of many, that's all good. So the topic today is Manuka honey. But when I say Manuka honey, I don't mean just Manuka honey from everywhere or anywhere. I mean Manuka honey from New Zealand, the certified Manuka honey. The reason I'm talking about this is because, as a lot of you know, there are so many illnesses showing up and misdiagnoses by doctors and yeah, I guess whatever natural kind of stuff we can pass on to one another, and it may be of benefit to somebody that hasn't thought about a particular product. Anyway, the reason I talk about Manuka honey is firstly my mother, who passed away in 2008, for years complained to her doctor that she felt bloated, that she continuously felt nauseated, and pill after pill after pill after pill, it just continued until the point where she got stomach cancer. And all it would have taken for her not to get that was for her doctor to actually send her for a Helicobacter test. If you've never heard of Helicobacter, I'll put the name down in the description and you can go and read up on it. Antibiotic resistant. So yeah, from Helicobacter, if you don't actually treat it, it turns ulcerous, and if you still don't treat it, it turns cancerous. My mother died of stomach cancer. So yeah, let's just say at this point that I have no faith whatsoever in doctors. I don't believe them as far as I can spit, and if I have to go to one, I will diagnose myself on the internet before I go there to make sure that he's doing his job, because obviously without him, I can't get a script. So, and that's if I can't find something of alternative medicine. But anyway, that was my mum's experience with Helicobacter. My dad, I would say from the amount of medication that he was put on, which half of, actually 3/4 of what he was pumping every day, he had no idea why he was on it. And my father was a great believer in doctors. It was like they were gods. And he pretty much ended up with bladder cancer. And I pretty much rushed him as soon as I found out about my mum's problem. I did the same thing with her, but for mum, it was too late. I took them to a Chinese herbalist and put them on the herbs. And anyway, going back to Dad, the actual herbs pretty much controlled, along with 6 monthly checkups or 3 monthly checkups to begin with, but then 6 monthly checkups. We pretty much had the bladder cancer under control. If they did find anything in there, they would laser it off. And Dad just continued taking the Chinese herbs, and it was all fine. He ended up going into hospital, and this was for a routine checkup. And of course, they found something with his heart now, which, oh God, if you're an elderly person, yeah, you're just a guinea pig. So anyway, my dad, believing doctors as he did, obviously, oh yeah, I've got to stay in overnight, whatever. Well, while he stayed in there, he caught the Pseudomonas bug, which I'll also put in the description. Pseudomonas is another bug like Helicobacter, only it affects a different part of your body, and also antibiotic resistant. So you need to pretty much go intravenous. 3 of the strongest antibiotics get combined, and that gets pumped into your system. Unfortunately, with these things being so strong, like the combination of 3 lots of strong antibiotics, there's a good possibility of your kidneys being put into shutdown. And this is what happened to my dad. He didn't die of the bladder cancer that he had. He pretty much went in for a routine checkup, caught Pseudomonas in hospital, was put onto the intravenous antibiotic bomb, which put his kidneys into shutdown, and that was pretty much the end of my dad. The third situation is my brother, disabled, lives in a disability group home, and because of the unhygienic way that they take care of these people, my brother ended up catching staph, which was, well, they made every effort to try and hide from me, but when it comes to things like that, I like to do my research, so I'm nobody's fool, especially after everything that I'd gone through with Mum and Dad. So anyway, every time my brother got a scratch thereafter, it didn't matter whether it was on his knee or on his elbow or wherever, it would blow up like a balloon, and he would have to be taken into hospital where he would be put on the same thing, the intravenous antibiotics, the antibiotic bomb, as I call it. And where the Manuka honey comes into this is with my brother, when he actually got it, I could see that this was just going to probably head in the same direction as Dad. So I knew I had to do something. And I started researching. Staph, and I started going into different forums to see what worked for people, what didn't work for people. And somehow, through going page after page after page after page on the net, I came across Manuka honey. And guess what? Manuka honey, certified from New Zealand, actually can cure. And that's Helicobacter, Pseudomonas, and staph. You have no idea how shitty I felt while I was reading that. On one side, I felt good because I actually figured, well, here's something that I'm going to definitely try with my brother. But on the other hand, it just showed me how when we don't open up our minds to different things, and maybe my mind was open, but with everything going on and Mum and Dad passing away 7 months one after the other, and trying to deal with doctors for both of them, maybe my mind was just too occupied. But it just made me feel like shit, because if I had have known before, I probably could have saved not maybe both of them, but at least Dad. But anyway, I prefer to believe that God took them because their time was up, because I think if I don't, it's not a good situation. But I prefer to believe that now they're not sick, they're healthy, and they're in a better place. But so I ended up ordering this Manuka honey, and I found out that you could not actually, it was banned from WA because the state that I live in Oz, apparently they say that they've got their own version of Manuka honey here now, and that it's exactly the same thing. Well, I'm one of those people that if you've got an issue, I don't really want to be doing the try, not succeed, try. I believe that it's just best, like my father would say, is go straight to the head, because that's where it's all at. So anyway, I ended up getting the Manuka honey, and I'm not going to go into how, but I did get it, and I started giving it to my brother, and my best way of knowing whether it was actually working for him or not was to wait until he got scratched or had a sore of some kind. And not only did I actually tell the social trainers to give this to him as you're supposed to take it, but I also told them that if he gets a scratch that they can use the Manuka honey on a bandage and put it on his wound. So they were doing this. Anyway, jar after jar after jar, because I did actually test it out. One jar, a spoon in the morning and a spoon at night, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, with nothing else, and preferably on a plastic spoon, not on your toast, because that's not how it's going to work. Anyway, they were kind of sort of doing this and whatever, so now it was up to me to just wait to see what would happen. I saw scratches on my brother. There were no lumps, no inflammation, no whatever. Then I was told at one point that they don't know how, but he literally sliced his toe a real beaut. Now, if he still had had staph, that would have blown up to no end. But they plaqued it with Manuka honey and no infection. He then later ended up falling and hit the back of his head on the door frame. So hospital trip 9 stitches later, from what I'm told. No inflammation, no infection. So that to me was pretty much proof that what the people were saying about Manuka honey from New Zealand, certified with the certified label on it, does work for Helicobacter, does work for Pseudomonas, and does work for staph, because all 3 of those things are pretty much, like I said, antibiotic resistant unless you put on the intravenous bomb. So I speak from experience here. If you do have any kind of an issue out there, and it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter if you've gone from A to B to C to D and nothing seems to be working, then surely you can try this, because it just may help you. Like I said, I mean, for my folks, my research was too late, but at least I think I've actually found a cure for my brother if he should happen to ever get staph again. I know that we carry staph on our skin and all the rest of it, but the fact that his wounds were blowing up, puffing up and whatever, and looking really inflamed and angry and whatever, you could tell that it had gone into his bloodstream. Because when they actually found, or one of the lumps blew up, I'd asked the doctor on one of his visits to the hospital to actually take a biopsy, because I wanted to see what it was, because I was being lied to. And of course, I kept ringing until the results came back, and he pretty much said to me that it was staph. So yeah, so if you're sick, if you've got stomach problems, if you've got lung problems, if you've got any kind of an issue, I suggest to you, for at least a span of 6 months minimum, that's my opinion, that you order yourself the Manuka honey and give it time to get into your system. When you first start, maybe it's good to take it 3 times a day just to literally get it in through your body, and then after that twice a day. But yeah, Manuka honey for me, I think, is definitely the way to go. So if you are ill, give it a try. You've got nothing to lose.